everyone, Linda here, the scrapbooking photographer. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is very exciting. It is part of a hop on YouTube called Topsy Turvy Christmas. It's the brainchild of Holly Fiercely and Karen Carr, who I believe live on opposite sides of the planet. And they invited a few of us to join in if we wanted to scrapbook some photos from the opposite side of the world. I live in New Zealand where it's a summer Christmas, and I have been paired with Christine Steele-Harden, who lives in Texas. I don't know how much snow they get in Texas at Christmas time, but we did swap some pictures to do each other's pages, and Christine sent me some from a Gaylord Ice event. I had never heard of a Gaylord Ice event. So I did a little bit of Googling after Christine sent me the link, and it's absolutely fascinating. The Gaylord hotels fly in about 40 artisans from China, and they spend 6 weeks carving more than 2 million pounds of ice at each resort to make a 19,000 square foot frozen attraction at each venue. And these experts follow a 300-page design book filled with sketches and blueprints to create the individual pieces. Just amazing. Anyway, this event that Christine went to with her family was at the Gaylord, Texas venue, and it was of Rudolph. So we have these amazing pictures of these enormous ice sculptures. So I'm really looking forward to putting them together. And this is Christine with her family. As you can see, the pictures have a very wintry blue tinge. So I'm going to go with that theme using sapphire at the back and some periwinkle in the front, both papers from close to my heart. I've also got some stamps and thin cuts and some silver thread. And I've also got some ornaments made with some blue glitter paper and some holographic paper in the background. So I've got a rough idea of how I'm going to do it. I must say I've been agonising over this. It seems so much more important when you're dealing with other people's photos. So we'll see how we go. The first thing I'm going to do is trim an edge off the periwinkle cardstock to leave a frame of sapphire around the outside. So I'm taking 1/2 inch off one side and 1/4 inch off another, and that will effectively give me 1/4 inch on 3 sides of both pieces that I can then have meeting in the middle, just to show that continuity for the double page layout. I think this family photo of Christine's is a hero image, so we'll mount that by gutting the back of the sapphire piece. So I'll take the back out of this piece to frame the family photo, and I'll take a piece out of the other side to frame the snowmen. Both those photos have been printed a little bit bigger, so they stand out more on a double page spread. So Christine has a channel on YouTube also called Scrapping Harden, so there will be a link to her channel in the description below. So now I've got these 2 pieces of periwinkle. I just need to make sure I've got them the right way up before I add a little bit of white gloss spray. And the best way I've found to do this is to dip the nozzle into the spray and then tap it off the edge with the long handle of a paintbrush. It just seems to get some good splatter coverage rather than when you spray it and it ends up a bit splotchy. So I'll pop that one over to dry and then do exactly the same on the other piece. And I'm hoping it's going to look a little bit like snow at the top of the ice pictures. I had so many ideas of what I could do for this layout, but working with somebody else's pictures, I ended up staying with tried and true methods. And I did want to include a reindeer because the ice sculpture is all about Rudolph, the classic Christmas movie, but there isn't actually a reindeer in any of the photos. So I thought I would introduce a little bit of a toffee colour because that's the colour that reindeer are, but sprinkle him with some silver embossing powder and heat him up. So I did get him all ready, and you'll see here that I'm just blow drying him to watch that powder turn into the silver. And I also did another couple of options off camera so that I've got some choices when I put the pages together later on in the video, so you'll see what I end up choosing. But now I'll bring back the periwinkle pages with the gloss spray that is all dry and start placing the photos. So this hero image is going to go right next to the middle of the pages, and then I want the snowman to be the same height, so I've trimmed a little bit off the top and the bottom, and I'll mount that also with the sapphire by gutting the back of that piece of cardstock. Before I stick anything down though, I'm going to use the Versamat to make sure I get this frame even all the way round. So adding the adhesive to the back of the periwinkle, I will make sure that I'm leaving 1/4 of an inch all the way around, or on the 3 sides, with the middle two meeting right in the middle so that that flows through. Now I want to add another little bit of flow through the bottom half. So I have found a piece of paper which, if I had 2, I may have used the 2 pieces of paper, but I only have 1. So I'm using a section of it, so it's going to go from the light to the dark, and I'll have it flowing underneath these 2 photos. So to make it go the full length of 2 pages, I'm just trimming it so that you will see bits where it's relevant, and I'll have the snowman a little bit in from the centre, so I need to split that right hand piece into 2. So then I can adhere all of that down. So I'll use the Versamat again just to make sure that I get that strip of paper in the same place on both sides, and then I can adhere everything down. And then on the same on the right hand side, and we're starting to take shape. Now I've got these 2 photos left, and I quite like the snowman on the right hand side because he's facing into the page. But he has got quite a lot of structure around him, and he doesn't quite fit as a whole photo. So I'm just fussy cutting around the outside so that he can pop in next to the tree and above the other 3 snowmen. There he is, just pop him under there. And I do need to just trim a little bit more off him so that the darkness that was behind him in the photo doesn't show any funny outlines when he's on the page. Now that all the photos are in their places, I can turn my attention to the left hand side of the left page, where I'm going to use these ornaments. Now these came from close to my heart as SVG files, and I've cut them out in the blue glitter paper with holographic paper behind them, and also for the toppers. So I think they're just awesome. And as soon as I saw Christine's photos when they came through, I knew that I wanted to use these Christmas ornaments somehow on the page, and I've actually had them made for about 6 weeks before I finally got to do the video. So here I'm just putting a little bit of dot roller on the back, and if I use the all-purpose mat underneath, then it doesn't really stick into the wrong places. And I find that works better than using glue, because sometimes when you use glue it squelches out the sides, and then on the holographic paper it ends up smudging and not looking very attractive at all. So I have put them all together with the same technique. And then I'm going to cut little bits of string so that they'll hang from the top, and I'm also going to put them on the page with some 3D foam tape. So I'll tie a knot around them first, just tying them together, just your basic knot. I tried some bows and different things, but it didn't work, so I've just gone for a basic knot in the end. And then I'll stick the decoration on with some foam tape just to raise it up and give it a little bit of dimension on the page. And then I'll just use a little bit of my dot roller at the top to stick the string down. And again, I used some glue to put the string down, but it didn't hold fast enough, so dot roller was the way to go. And then I'll just trim it off at the top of the page, and we'll end up with 3 pieces of string going up that way. While I put those together, I'll just remind you that this is a hop. So as I mentioned, Christine's YouTube channel will be linked below in the description so that you can see her video of what she did with the photos I sent her. But there's also a couple of other teams that have done the same thing, so their descriptions or links will also be in the description below. So make sure you have a look at them all, because I'm sure there'll be some interesting things come out of it, and lots of inspiration for us to use in our own photos as well. Now, you may think I'm doing it the wrong way round, and you'd be right, because when I got to do the third one, of course the string needs to go right underneath that long one that I did first, so I end up doing that in 2 pieces. But that's the beauty with scrapbooking. Just like we've gutted out the back of the sapphire pieces, once we've cut the string into 2 pieces and put them in so that they look right, nobody would be any the wiser. And now that those 3 ornaments are adhered down, I'm really happy with the way they look. So I can go back to the right hand page and mount our Christmas tree photo and stick him in, and also the snowman that's tucked underneath the bigger picture. Bringing the 2 pages back together just for a bit of a check. Everything looks good, and now it's time to add a journaling box down on the right hand side. So I'm using a 4-inch square piece of glitter paper with a piece of periwinkle on the inside to write on. And I'm also going to border that piece of periwinkle with this Christmas wreath stamp from Close to My Heart card making set for silver bells. Now, I just have to be careful because the wreath is longer than my narrow block, so I have to use this wide block, and it's really important to be careful you don't get the ink in the back part of the block and end up with it in the middle of the journaling box. So I am taking care to use my chamois to wipe the excess away before I add it to the journaling box. So once I've gone round the outside with sapphire ink and the wreath stamp, I'll attach it to the glitter paper with glue. Now, I have found that dot roller on glitter paper doesn't work at all. It doesn't seem to stick, so I'm using my aqua glue and the fat end so that I can just put a decent dollop all the way around and make sure that it stays in place once I've popped it on the glitter paper. And then I can just use the dot roller to add it into the page. One of the ideas behind this topsy-turvy Christmas was so that those of us in the southern hemisphere who don't have winter Christmases get to use some of the stickers and papers that we have that always come out at Christmas time with a winter theme. So this little snowman has been in my stash for years, probably 10 years or so. So it's really, really nice to be able to use him finally in the right environment. For the title here, I'm going to put at Gaylord with Rudolph, and I'm going to use the Dainty script and the Candy Cane script. So using the Dainty script on my big block, I'm just going to put at Gaylord. Now, I really want to get it flat, even and straight, and I'm going directly on the page, which I've already done all the work to, so I'm a little bit nervous about getting it right. So I'm going to use my T-square to come in from the side and just make sure that it is right before I push down with the stamp. So I'm going to put it there and just leave enough room underneath to put Rudolph's name, and then shut my eyes and hope for the best, and it looks good, so that's okay. So I've used another little alphabet from the pennant set to put the word with, just to because we're at Gaylord with Rudolph. And so now it's pretty easy just to follow the lines and make sure everything fits nicely. Now you remember at the beginning of the video I made a toffee coloured reindeer, silver embossed. Well, I also made a toffee coloured one and embossed him in white. So I thought maybe either of them might look good on that top left hand corner. But in the end I went with a white one and stamped him in sapphire. And I think he fits the best, and he needs a red nose, and I can either do it with an enamel dot or one of these little glitter gems. And the beauty of the glitter gems is that I can take a red pen and colour it in and it will stay red. So that makes it a little bit more of a nice shiny nose for Rudolph. So I'll just pop that to one side to dry before I put it onto his nose. And while that's drying, I've got all these blue and silver sparkles that I can add. I guess the silver ones are snowflakes and the blue ones come from the inside of that Christmas decoration. So I'll scatter those around and adhere those down so that they give a good scattering and fill up that empty space. I am using the aqua glue in different spots to attach these to the page, and it just worked out well that there's 3 blue centres left over and 6 snowflakes, so I can have 2 groups of 3. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I have in making it, and I hope you enjoy watching everybody else's part in the Topsy Turvy Christmas as well. It's been a fun initiative and I hope we do it next year too. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, your subscription would be most welcome. And if you'd like to copy this layout, then just pause the video and take a screenshot. And now with a Rudolph's nose attached to him, I will call these pages finished. Wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to being here again next year with lots more videos. Happy crafting, everyone.